Hi everybody, it's Lynne Forsythe and I am here to show you how I created this background on my canvas. So what we're going to need for products is we need a piece of cardboard in which I use Tim Holtz distressed doily and cut the end of it. I'm using some molding paste, some gelatos, ooh yummy yummy. Okay, and we have boysenberry, cotton candy, blueberry, and black. And then I'm going to use some Radiant Rain, Shimmering Mist, Pearl Red to help mix the colors and then to add just a little bit of bling to it afterwards. So let's get this process going. So I cut a piece of cardboard 5 3/4 inches by 7.5 inches long. And then what I did was, as I had said earlier, I used the distressed doily on the edge die and I cut the bottom here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke out some of the pieces randomly, not necessarily all of them because I'm kind of a rather random person. And if they don't pop all the way out, then we'll just peel the top level off. And, you know, we're just trying to get a little bit of definition and just some fun look here. So just go ahead and pop those out and see which ones do pop out. And like I said, if they don't pop out, then just rip that top layer off. And then what I want to have you do is to just begin peeling off the first layer. Now I did use cardboard that's produced by Zutter, and so it just has a tendency to tear a little bit better than if you just kind of use the generic cardboard that comes off a box. So this does kind of tear a little bit better. And then we're just going to kind of, I don't want all of that off because part of the fun part is leaving a little bit of this background on. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good like that. So what I want you to do is using a palette knife, we're just going to kind of dip into the molding paste and we're just going to randomly smear it all over our cardboard here. In no particular fashion, in no particular order. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dry this. Now there's a couple ways that you can do it. I have been known to put it in my oven and bake it at 200 degrees or use a heat tool. Or if you're patient, which I haven't got a lick of patience in me, then you can just let it sit there and dry and then come back later and work on it. So whatever your fancy is, we need to get this dry. Okay, so I chose using the heat tool route to dry my molding paste, and it seems to be pretty dry. We definitely don't want it wet because we are going to be coloring over top of it with the gelatos. Probably best case scenario is to bake it or leave it overnight, but you know what? We're just going to embrace whatever happens as we work on this. So on my canvas, the piece that I worked on, I started with the lightest color and then added darker colors to it. So we're just going to kind of randomly color. And I don't want it all colored in because we're going to just keep adding some layers and layers of color on here. And we're going to use our Radiant Rain Shimmering Mist and we're going to kind of spritz this so that we can get some smearage going on here. It's got some really cool effects going on. Alright, so I'm going to hit this with the heat tool and kind of dry it because it is a little damp over here. And even though you can use the gelatos on top of water, that's not the effect that I'm wanting to get here. So we'll just use the heat tool and kind of dry it. so we can add some more layers. And I noticed down here at the bottom that I actually hadn't smeared any of this yet. Okay, so we'll keep drying it. And I love using the Radiant Rain Shimmering Mist, because not only now do we have all this color going on, now we have a little bit of sparkly bling going on too. So that just makes it so much fun. Now we're going to add a little bit of the boysenberry over top here. Oops, see? Told you we're going to have to embrace how this happens. Because we've added liquid to this, some of my molding paste is coming up. But that's okay. We're going to embrace my impatience. And then over top of that, I'm going to do some black. Because I'm kind of a dark crafter. And we'll just use our finger and kind of smear it around. And we're going to spray it with a little bit of mist here. Okay, so I want there to be a little bit of color down in the crevices here. So I have put a little bit of my black gelato on my craft mat. And I'm going to add some water to it. And then I'm just going to kind of go in here and fill in some of these places where I would like there to be a little bit more color. But because I get so impatient with the molding paste that I can't keep adding lots of water because it's just kind of all gushing together. We're going to add a little bit more of the cotton candy blue. And I'm going to give it one more spritz. This time I'm going to kind of hold it up and I'm just going to let those colors run. And now we're going to let this set aside and dry. That looks so yummy. I love it. I just love how these all work and the way that they intermix and work together. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of the Darjeeling dahlias, and I used one of the very lightest ones and then the grayish one, and this is from the Gray Black collection, okay? And then I realized that I don't have a black one anymore because I used it on my original canvas. So we're going to take one of these big ones and we'll just make it black. And this is from the same line of the Gray Blacks, and this is the Daisies. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this large one and we're just going to take our gelato and we're just going to run over top of it, over top of our flower with the black. Get some good color on there. And then we're going to spray it with our mist. And we're just going to kind of use our fingers and rub it all around in there. And the beauty of these is it does wash right off with soap and water. All right, so there we go. And we can even add a little bit of blue on top of there. All right, so now we've made that flower black. And we're basically just going to use the same techniques on these two. So we're just going to take some of the blue, and this is the blueberry. And I'm going to use this on the darker of the flowers, and I'm just going to go around the edges and color my flower. And once again, we're going to spritz it. And using our fingers, kind of melding that and smearing it around. And this is just regular water. Okay. Okay, so there's that one. And with the lighter colored one, I'm going to use the cotton candy. And I'm going to color this one in. Using the water, we're just going to kind of smear that around. And I'm a person who likes to do a lot of dipping. I've got this water on my mat, so I'm just going to take my black gelato and kind of mix it up in there. And then I'm going to just drag the edges of my flowers into the gelato water mixture that's on my craft mat. And look, oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I might actually have to do a little bit of that to this other one. Oh, how fun is this? So those are the techniques that I used to create my flowers for my flower grouping, which will then go on top of my background. And I wrapped the piece of cardboard with a piece of vintage lace, and then I used a piece of chipboard and tied some jute, and I've got a little bit of baby's breath in there. And so you can go ahead and accent it however you would like, but I wanted you to see how I created the background so that you too can enjoy and have fun creating this canvas. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and you have a great day.